You know, we all hear about the great romantic poets, but today, we're going to look at a story that's kind of hidden between the lines of some of the most famous poems ever written. We're diving into the private journals of a woman named Dorothy Wordsworth.
And let's just kick things off with a pretty wild question. What if a famous poet's greatest work was secretly written by his sister? It's a thought that kind of reframes everything we think we know about genius, art, and who really gets the credit.
So to really get this story, we've got to go back to the beginning. For Dorothy Wordsworth, it all started with something pretty simple, but also profound. Finally getting to have a home with their brother, the poet William Wordsworth.
And you really have to understand the context here to get it. Dorothy's mother died when she was only 6 years old, so when she finally got to move in with William, it was so much more than just a house. It was the first real, stable home she'd ever known. They were totally inseparable, this little creative team of two.
So once she had this stability, this home, she started doing something pretty remarkable. She began to write down everything she saw, creating this incredible record of the world through her eyes. Her journals weren't your typical Dear Diary stuff. No, they were this amazing catalog of the world around her. I mean, she was a master observer, writing down these unbelievably detailed descriptions of the weather, of flowers, of animals. She'd capture these beautiful country scenes, and this is what's really cool. She would talk to local villagers and vagrants, collecting their stories. But what makes her writing so unique is that she almost never talks about her own feelings. It's like she's a camera, you know? Just capturing the world with this incredible crystal clarity, but almost never turning that camera on herself. The result is this really powerful, objective style that just pulls you right in.
So what happened to all these amazing observations? Well, they didn't just sit there gathering dust in her private journal. They actually became the secret ingredient, the raw material for a literary legend.
And you can see this dynamic playing out perfectly right here. On the left, you've got Dorothy's journal, where she writes about their adventures, like meeting this fascinating guy known as the leech gatherer. And then on the right, you have William's poetry, where he takes that exact encounter and turns it into a famous poem. She was his eyes, his memory, his silent partner.
So this creative ecosystem they'd built, this perfect partnership, it was working beautifully. But, and it's a big but, it was also incredibly fragile, and it was about to break. And here's the thing, even with all this creative energy, Dorothy was really struggling behind the scenes. She was dealing with constant illness, this fragility that was always there, right under the surface. And then, the one event that just changed everything. William got engaged to a woman named Mary Hutchinson.
And the fallout for Dorothy was immediate and, well, devastating. William left their shared home, that constant companionship that had defined her entire adult life, the very foundation of her world. It was just gone.
What happened next was just a complete and total collapse. It's tragic, and you can see it happening right there in the final pages of her journal.
Her writing, which had always been so controlled and clear-eyed, just dissolves. It turns into what's been called an extreme disturbance of energy. That calm, observant style, gone, replaced by something unsettled and chaotic. Her art was literally breaking down right alongside her. And look at this timeline, it just lays it all out so clearly. It's brutal. William leaves. A few short months later, the journal that had been her life's work just stops. And soon after that, Dorothy breaks down completely. The connection is, it's impossible to ignore. And maybe the most heartbreaking way to sum up her life is just this one sentence. After her brother leaves, she never, ever regains that former bliss, that creative fire, that stable life, the vibrant world she captured. It was all lost. So, the story of Dorothy Wordsworth really leaves you with this huge question, doesn't it? Her genius was the bedrock for her brother's fame, but she stayed in the shadows. And it just makes you wonder, how many other great artists, these silent partners and unrecognized voices, are hidden out there in plain sight, just waiting for their stories to be told?